France, 1894, Paris. Meet Alfred Dreyfus, French army captain, 34 years old, family from Alsace, wealthy, loyal, and patriotic. He believed in France. He believed in liberty, equality, fraternity, the whole deal. He saw himself as French, first, last, and always. And the crime they committed against him sent a wave through history, a wave we still feel today. September 1894, a cleaning lady named Marie Bastien worked at the German embassy in Paris. Every day she emptied out the trash as routine. Except Marie wasn't really a cleaning lady. She was a French spy. Had been for years. The Germans never figured it out. One day, she pulls torn papers out of the wastebasket. She brings them to the French military intelligence. They tape them back together, and what they read changes everything. It's a list of French military secrets being offered to Germany by someone inside the French army. France had a spy, a traitor in uniform, and now they're gonna have to find him. October 15th, 1894. Captain Dreyfus sits on his desk at the War Ministry. Working normal day, then the door opens. Military officers walk in, they surround him, they arrest him, they tell him he's charged with treason against France. He had no idea what they're talking about. They threw him in solitary confinement. They pressured him to confess. Day after day, officers shouting, threats, but he won't break. He can't understand it. A loyal captain, a French soldier, and they are calling him a traitor. December, the trial begins. Closed doors, no journalists, no public. Secret military court. They told his lawyer what the evidence was. Just wouldn't let him see it. The judges are shown the secret file. Dreyfus and his team never got to look at it. The verdict came down. Guilty. Treason. Life on Devil's Island. But before they shipped him across the ocean, they had one more thing planned. The courtyard of the École Militaire. In a cold winter morning, 20,000 people had shown up. Dreyfus is marched into the center of the courtyard, surrounded by French soldiers. He is still in his uniform. Not for long. The senior officer steps forward. He rips the gold rings off Dreyfus' shoulders. He tears the buttons from his coat. He pulls his stripes from his sleeves. Then he takes his Dreyfus sword and breaks it in half, right in front of him. Dreyfus, stripped of everything, falls down to his knees and shouts, "I'm innocent. Long live France. Long live the army." And the crowd outside the gates roars back, "Death to the traitor. Death to Judah." Take a second. Picture this guy, a loyal officer, 2 kids and a wife at home. France was his country. He would have died for it, and France just threw him on a rock in the Atlantic for a crime he didn't commit. If you feel that, that's the right answer. The evidence. Let's talk about it. The case that put a man on Devil's Island. The case that 20,000 people came to watch. Here is what they actually had. One ripped up letter, unsigned, listing French military secrets. That's it. No motive. Dreyfus was wealthy. He didn't need the money. No witnesses. No confession. Nothing tying him to the German embassy. Nothing linking him to Germany at all. Just a letter and one question. Who wrote it? So they brought a handwriting expert, a man named Alphonse Bertillon. He compared the letter to Dreyfus' handwriting. His conclusion? Similar, but not identical. Other experts were called in. Some said yes, some said no. The result are inconclusive. A French officer named Hubert Henry later confessed to making the letters up. They put him in a cell. He killed himself the next day. Here's the part that breaks you. 2 years after Dreyfus was sent to Devil's Island, the army found the real spy. His name was Ferdinand Wassine Hestrency, a French officer drowning in debt, caught selling cigarettes in Germany. The army knew it was him, and they covered it up. Because admitting that Hestrency was the spy meant admitting Dreyfus wasn't. And the French army had already decided who the traitor was. And you think, this is it, happy ending. Unfortunately, it's not. Hestrency went on trial in 1898 and acquitted in minutes. After that, he fled to England and eventually confessed to everything. Dreyfus still in Devil's Island. Now, I have to tell you something. This whole time, there's been one detail I left out. One thing about Dreyfus I never mentioned. Dreyfus was Jewish. And suddenly, everything makes sense. The handwriting analysis that didn't match makes sense. The forged document makes sense. The secret file that the defense never saw makes sense. The real spy they protected instead of prosecuting makes sense. Death to Judah makes sense. They didn't pick him because the evidence pointed to him. They picked him because he was Jewish. Let's pause here for a bit. We'll get back to the end of Dreyfus' story. But right now, I want to jump to the real story. The story this episode is named after. The birth of Zionism. In all this commotion, out there in the crowd, there was a young 34-year-old Jewish writer trying to understand why this was happening. His name was Theodor Herzl, and he was about to change the world. So, who was this guy? Theodor Herzl, 34-year-old, born in Budapest, lived in Vienna, working as a Paris correspondent for a big Vienna newspaper. Successful, wealthy, well-dressed, spoke fluent French and German. He wrote plays in his spare time, hung out with intellectuals in Paris cafes. He was the dream of Jewish assimilation, the proof that it worked. A Jew who'd made it in European high society. He wasn't religious, he wasn't traditional. He didn't think of himself as Jewish at first. He considered himself as equal. On January 5th, 1895, he stood in the crowd and he watched France strip an innocent Jewish officer of his rank. And he heard 20,000 civilians in the country of liberty, equality, fraternity scream, "Death to the Jews." And if France can do this, France, the most enlightened country in Europe, the birthplace of human rights, the country that gave Jews citizenship 100 years before anyone else, then no European country would ever be safe for the Jews. Being a good European wasn't enough. Speaking French wasn't enough. Being wealthy, educated, loyal, patriotic, none of it was enough. The moment they needed a scapegoat, the Jew was the scapegoat. So Herzl asked himself a question that would change history. If we can't be safe as Europeans, where can we be safe? His answer was a book. He called it Der Judenstaat, the Jewish state. Published 1896, 1 year after the Dreyfus ceremony, the thesis was simple. Jews would never be safe as a minority in someone else's country. The only solution, their own country, a Jewish homeland. That's Zionism. That's the entire idea, born from a French courtyard in 1895. So, what happened to Dreyfus? He spent 5 years on Devil's Island, alone in a cage. Back in France, the truth started leaking out. The French intelligence officer found evidence pointing to the real spy. The army buried it. So a famous French writer named Émile Zola published an open letter. He called it Je accuse, I accuse. He named names. He called the army out for framing an innocent Jew. France exploded. The country split in half. Riots, newspaper wars, families stopped talking. The whole country had to choose a side. The forager confessed and killed himself in a cell. The army couldn't pretend anymore. Dreyfus was brought back from Devil's Island for a second trial. And they convicted him again. But the verdict was so absurd that the French president immediately pardoned him. Dreyfus accepted. He wanted to see his family, but he kept fighting. 7 more years of court and battles. In 1906, 12 years after the arrest, a French civilian court fully cleared him. Officially innocent, reinstated in the army, promoted to major. He served in World War I, earned the Legion of Honor, made lieutenant colonel. He died in Paris, 1935, at the age of 75. The French army didn't formally admit they framed him until 1995, 100 years after the arrest. I bet that 99% of you don't know what the word Zionism really means literally. Do you want me to explain? Well, I'm going to anyway. Zion in Hebrew is Zion. It's one of the most oldest names for Jerusalem. It started as the name of a single hill in the city. Over time, it became a poetic name for all of Jerusalem, and eventually for the entire land of Israel. For 2,000 years, after the Romans destroyed Jerusalem and exiled the Jews around the world prayed every day to return to Zion. They said it in their prayers, they wrote it in their poetry, they sang it in their weddings, and they mentioned it at funerals. In 1877, a 21-year-old Jewish poet named Naftali Herzenberg wrote a 9-stanza poem. He called it Tikvateinu, our hope. One line from that poem became the most famous line in Jewish history. Ein LeZion Sophia. An eye gazes towards Zion. Today, that line is a part of the Israeli national anthem, Hatikva, the hope. So when Nathan Berenbaum invented the word Zionism in 1890, and when Herzl made it a political movement 6 years later, they were giving a name to something that already existed, something Jews had been doing for 2,000 years. Zionism literally just means going home. Now, the first Zionist Congress happened in 1897, 2 years after Dreyfus, in Basel, Switzerland. 200 delegates from 17 countries. Herzl stood and said, "We're going to build a Jewish state." He wrote in his diary that night, "In Basel, I founded the Jewish state. Maybe in 5 years, certainly in 50. Everyone will know it." He was right. Israel was founded in 1948, 51 years later. So you might be asking, wait, all this mess in the Middle East, everything that's happening today, it's all because one Jew got a bad deal in Paris? The answer? Of course not. Dreyfus didn't start Zionism. Dreyfus was a moment Herzl finally saw what every Jew before him already knew. Let me show you what he saw. 70 CE, the Romans destroyed Jerusalem, burned the temple, exiled the Jews, estimated dead close to 1 million, documented in Roman records and the writing of Josephus that was there. 1492, Spain, the Alhambra Decree. Hundreds of thousands of Jews expelled. Tens of thousands died during the expulsion. The original document still exists, signed by Fernand and Isabella. 1648, Ukraine. The Khmelnytsky massacre. Up to 100,000 Jews killed by the Cossacks uprising. Documented in Hebrew, Polish, and Russian records. 1881, the Russian Empire. Hundreds of pogroms, thousands killed, 2 million Jews flee Russia. This is the wave Herzl was watching when he wrote this book. And then, 1939. Well, we all know what happened there. 6 million. And that is just the big ones. There are dozens more I didn't list. Crusader massacres, expulsion from England, France, Portugal, pogroms across Eastern Europe for centuries. All documented, all real, all in historical records.